before you pass off a task, learn the task. And so
before you hire a virtual assistant, make sure you know what it's all about. All right. So we are here, episode 80 of Leverage Podcast, and I'm talking to my good friend, David Kurz. David is the well-known real estate agent in South Florida. He's an author, coach, a veteran, a Marine. David, welcome to Leverage Podcast, man.
Thank you, Pablo.
Nice talking to you.
Dude, I love coming on your podcast. It's always a lot of fun, and I know we're about to have some fun. We're going to have a good time now.
Absolutely. And, David, I mean, look, I mean, for those who don't know you, I mean, I just said who you are. You're like a big known guy who's taking action and basically building the empire. I've known you for quite some time, for a few years now, and I've been observing you. You had your great brokerage, your own brokerage. Then I know you went to EXP, and now I just learned from you before starting this pod that you have left EXP and you went elsewhere, and that's really actually get on the top of my list to talk to you about it. So tell me the story, dude.
Man, we got so much to talk about, but yes, I was at EXP for almost 3 years.
I remember.
It's a pretty nice size organization, and our team did very well with them. But man, this guy by the name of Robert Palmer here in Florida, he started a company called RP Funding many years ago, 22 years ago.
I want to meet him now.
I want
to meet him, dude.
Super guy.
I want to interview him. Yeah.
Super guy. He started this company, RP Funding, and self-made billionaire, and just grew from that. Started another company called Listing Power Tools, where they would pay a monthly fee to be a part of this marketing program, and he would produce and create a lot of printed marketing material for agents and kind of keep that task out of their hands, and he would just handle it for them for their listings and things like that, this year in February, he spent the last 3 years doing research, figuring out. This year in February, he launched LPT Realty, which is a play on Listing Power Tools, right? LPT Realty.
Yeah.
And LPT Realty, man, from February to July, dude, 6 months, the company grew to almost 2,000 agents.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So it's probably the fastest growing real estate company in history, just based on that knowledge.
What's the secret sauce, dude?
Well, the crazy part is that happened in one state. So it wasn't like a shotgun,
Florida,
like 50 states, and we got like 7 people in each state. It's not like that at all. It's one state, very focused, very micro-organized, very methodical in the process of growth, And man, the secret sauce is so simple. No monthly fees. You have a choice between 2 comp plans. So you can either choose to be at 100% commission with a $500 flat fee with a $5,000 cap, or you could be at the 80-20 revenue share partner plan. They offer stock to both, except the 80-20 revenue share partner plan earns a little more stock than the 100% guy, right? And both plans can build an organization and build a revenue share, but only the revenue share partner 80-20 plan can earn it. So what happens is it gives an agent, right, the opportunity to see if they're even going to be good at this thing, right? So they come into the company, they come in at 100%. We call it the business builder platform. You keep your money in your pocket, you grow your real estate business, you happen to recruit some people, and then one day you go, dang, I could have made $1,000 this month. I think I'm going to switch up. And they allow you to switch from the 100% to the 80-20. And then because he owns Listing Power Tools, he's got this facility here in Florida. It's an $18 million facility, print facility. And so for every single listing, for every single agent, regardless of comp plan, every time you get a listing, he sends you a free marketing package with 160 marketing people.
That's a pretty good, value prop right there.
Dude, it's ridiculous. And look at this,
David. Yeah. Wow.
I mean, it's just
you
crazy.
Still got a Kurz team,
168 marketing pieces, and then and you take that and you couple it with, free .loop, free CRM, crazy mentorship platform, open environment. So there's not the funding company or the mortgage company is not tied to the real estate company. So they have an open ecosystem. So they welcome any real estate, any mortgage company, any title company wants to partner with our agents, they encourage it. It's just pretty dope, man. I think it's pretty incredible. The company's pretty great. And they announced 12 new locations publicly a couple months ago. So we're going to ride up the East Coast, right? Colorado, Texas, and then Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, New York, New Jersey, Puerto Rico, things like that.
Wow. So you took your whole team and took it there? Because I know you had a huge team. How many people do you have on your team, man?
So my official sales team is about 16 agents. And
16, okay.
yeah, and we're actually split. So half that team is in South Florida, and the other half of the team is in Northern Virginia in the DMV area. So we just moved our Virginia team over, and so we're pretty pumped about that because Virginia just opened up, and so we just moved. We're the first official agents in Virginia for LPT Realty.
Nice.
And yeah, pretty awesome, man. And then we moved. I think there's about 100 and something people that followed me along the way.
So, David, what's your secret sauce, dude? Because I've known you for quite some time, and you always build great companies. You've built your Kurz Realty. You had, real estate company. You had then you had a great team at EXP, and sounds like you're doing right now. And you always not staying in one place. You basically expanding to other places, other states. You're multi-state guy. You're like national guy. Yeah. So what's your secret sauce? Can you tell us more about it?
Man, I don't know if it's a secret sauce, but I think that more than anything, I'm consistent. I'm consistent, and I never quit. And I feel guilty if I take a day off. And that's just, I don't know if that's personality or it's habitual, it's habit. It's just like ingrained in my soul, I always tell people, if you go to the gym for 21 days straight, right? Every morning, 5 a.m., you wake up, you go to the gym. On day 21, you're feeling really good about it, right? And if on day 22, you go to McDonald's, you eat a McDonald's breakfast instead of going to the gym, you feel pretty shitty about it. You don't feel great.
You feel guilty. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so, I spent 9 years in the Marine Corps. And then I've been in the real estate industry 17 years. I've been coaching for 10 of those years. So wages, first of all, I don't like to not be busy. So I have multiple projects on my plates all the time. Right now, I'm in the process of writing my third book. I'm on chapter 11 out of 16. So we're almost there. It should be done by the end of the year.
What book is it? What is it about?
So we're writing. I wrote a book called Failure. And the entire book is to battle the normal stance of people allowing the quote fail forward in their mindset. And so I battle that in this book, and I tell people to remove the word fail forward out of their heads and start thinking more along the lines of win forward or succeed forward, right? Because it's kind of like I always joke with people, it's like walking up to a girl and saying, "You're not ugly," instead of saying, "Wow, you're beautiful," right?
Yeah, you're not ugly. Yeah.
It's all in the wordplay, And so that book's coming out soon. I'm really excited. I'm actually, I've written 2 other books before. This book really is a passion project. It's something that's coming from my heart, and I really hope that it ignites a fire in millions of people, God willing, right? And then we've got, I do my podcast, and we've got, webinars I host once a week for free because I love coaching. We're going to do the official launch of our coaching company. So I've been coaching for 10 years, but I've never
you have
had a coaching company. I've done it in groups, and I've done it, one-on-one.
You're gonna have a coaching company.
So we're opening up the Freedom Organization. As you can see, I'm a freedom coach.
Yeah, freedom coach. Yeah. And so what kind of coaching companies are going to be training, like coaching real estate agents, coaching?
Yeah. So we're going to,
what is it?
We're going to begin with real estate agents and mortgage professionals. We're building out a platform right now. In the next 45 days, the platform should have over 400 training videos and education videos. The platform also serves as a feed and a community, so agents that are a part of the Freedom Network can go in there and communicate with each other, kind of like a Facebook group, right?
Okay.
And be able to ask each other questions. And in each course, there's also a feed. So if you're in the middle of a sales course and you have questions on that course, you can ask questions, and other agents can interact, and my coaches can interact with them as well. We're doing that. And then we offer the free coaching every Thursday live at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we're tying that into offering group and one-on-one coaching. So all of this is being built out. Our platform is still in beta. We're letting people come in for free, actually. We decided that we're going to let the first 1,000 agents join the platform for free.
Nice. So hurry up, guys. Hurry up, those who actually need to get in.
Just go to the Freedom SOP. So it stands for Standard Operating Procedure.
Yeah. Speaking of which, yeah, exactly.
And so it's something pretty amazing, because I've taken over the last couple of years, I had this epiphany in 2020, right? And I was like, everybody talks about team development and agent development, business development the same exact way. Like every book you pick up, it's just a feed off another book.
Of course.
And then I said, why don't I said, man, I got this great military experience, and there's no team like a military team, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what country you're in. There's no team like that. It's a brotherhood or a sisterhood, or it's blood. They're no longer people you don't know. They're on your team. You could have just met them last week.
You trust them with your life. Exactly.
People are, you trust them with your life. They'll never let you down. They'll always look out for you. If something happens to you, they will go home and take care of your home. If you're sick, they will bring food to your family. Like this is the team. And so I said, how do I incorporate the military and my Marine Corps experience with how we've been developing teams and growing? And so I've done a lot of that. So there's been a big focus on team and business development for brokerages. And then my wife came up with this idea the other day. We're driving and she says, we should open a mentorship division. And
wow,
I said,
you're all over the place, man.
Yeah, man. I said, what's that? And she said, well, there's a lot of small brokerages that would love to be able to offer mentorship, but they don't have the capacity. So why don't we come in as a company, and instead of the agents having to pay us a monthly fee or coaching or hiring a one-on-one coach or being a part of a bigger platform, why don't they join the mentorship program and have a mentor in their state be able to guide them to success? And that way you're backing up the brokerage. The brokerage is offering something. The brokerage is going to get a win because you're going to get some deals written up out of an agent that may or may not have done deals, right? And so we're going to have a lot of fun with this, man. We're doing a lot of stuff. We got the conference in November, which is like,
I heard that. Yeah. I
36 days away or something like that.
David, David, you have a book titled "Take Action: Building a Business with the Right Mindset and Foundation." So it mentions building the right foundation for your business, basically. So, it's very important to build a company that's run like a well-oiled machine. So, do you have any tips how to build a good foundation that actually works for real estate agents who are building their company, building their teams or brokerages? What are the steps that that they should follow when establishing the systems and basically SOPs? How to build a great foundation for that?
So, I'll give a couple tips, Pablo. I think number one, if you're a new agent, I'm a big believer in mentorship or becoming a part of a team. That will never change. I believe, I always use the story that back in the day during the Roman times, if you wanted to be a swordsmith, if you wanted to make swords, you had to work under a master swordsmith for 30, 40 years before you could be
like apprenticeship. Yeah.
Right. If you want to be a samurai in Japan, you have to be, in under a master for how many years before you're considered a master, right? And a lot of times real estate agents make the mistake of coming into the industry and assuming that they've mastered this because they have a license now. And so now, because they have the ability to transmit or transact a home, they just go with it and hopefully they get this right. And I'm so against this. And so for new agents, number one is very much focused on find a team or find a mentor that can help you in the very beginning. And maybe you might end up on this team for 30 years, or maybe you're on this team for a year. It just depends on you, right? But interview a few teams. Don't just jump on the first one that says, I'll take you. I've got leads. Interview the right people who are going to do the right thing with you. And then the other part, I would say another tip, especially for teams that are growing and trying to find their footing, is try, how do I say this? Before you pass off a task, learn the task. And
So
so
before you
you
hire a
may not.
virtual assistant, make sure you know what it's all about, right?
Right. So because if you hire a virtual assistant and you have no idea the process, right, then how could you possibly train this virtual assistant to be an amazing assistant for you? And so
Exactly.
when you're building a foundation, you have to understand the parts of the foundation. And I think that being able to work in it for at least 6 months to really understand it before you pass it off is critical for any leader. Right. And
Of
that's,
course.
and of course, you're going to get to a point where, God willing, you're so big that you don't have to do that anymore. But there will always be someone in your organization that does before it's allowed to be passed to someone else. Right. So just because you got really big doesn't mean that there's not people that are taking that control, And so
Oh, yeah, I agree.
yeah, so I'm a big believer in that. And of course, there are things that you're not going to want to learn, right? Like, my virtual assistant is working on my website right now. So he's learning WordPress to be better at working on. I don't want to learn WordPress, right? But
Exactly,
when
yeah.
we first started building websites, we were doing Wix, right? I already knew how to do Wix. So
Wix
I
is
went in
easy,
there and
yeah.
I taught him everything I knew. And then I
Yeah.
said, okay, now that you know all of this, take some of these training classes and get better at it. Like do the
And
things that I
and
don't.
learn WordPress, yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
so man, now he's rocking it out, man. Yeah, my guy's a rock star, dude. I don't want to say his name
Nice.
because somebody's going to ask if he's available. And
Listen, David, I mean, I know a lot of agents went into the market when the market was so easy and homes were basically selling for multiple offers and everything. Now, as we see, the market has shifted and turned, and now the interest rate, I checked the interest rates today, they were like in the 7%. So I'm actually glad I bought my homes at 2% and with some change. But
yeah,
here's the thing. Yeah, I own 3 houses in Florida with 2.3 or something rate.
Cool.
So I'm never selling. But here's my point. Here's my question to you. So those agents that got into the business like within the last couple of years, they're due for the rude awakening right now. What do you tell those people who got into the business within the last couple of years and see what's happening right now? And is that the end of the world? Is this the crash, or what's going on? How are they going to survive? Do they have to go back to McDonald's now, or to their 9 to 5 Uber? What's your suggestion?
So in the Marine Corps, we used to joke around. The Marine Corps motto is "Semper Fidelis," right? Always faithful. Yep. And so we used to joke around and say in the Marine Corps, you have to be Semper Gumby, always flexible. And so, we used to joke about that because, things change at the last minute and you had to get flexible and you had to figure out how to shift and make it happen, right?
Of course.
And so I think that real estate agents are in that position right now, not 2 weeks from now, right now. As a matter of fact, probably been in this position, depending on what state you're in, for probably a month now. And so I would say, and this is going to be a bit rude, and you might not like what I say, and suck it up.
That's okay. Yeah.
Some of you are going back to McDonald's. Some of you are going back to TGI Fridays. Some of you are going to go back to your waiting table jobs or your car salesman jobs and things like that. And unfortunately, the reason for that is because you're not going to put in the work necessary to make the shift. And because things have been so easy for you lately, you put a house on the market and you would receive 30 offers. And the hardest thing was choosing the right one for your seller. And outside of that, you had to do nothing else. But now you actually have to have professionalism, and you have to market, and you have to create ads, and you have to go door knock, and you have to put up door hangers, and you have to create flyers, and you have to, take out ads, and you have to be on Google, and you have to get ranked, and you have to get,
educate yourself in the market.
And educate yourself on the market, right? So a tip that I always tell people is understand your market, know your market. Go to the MLS, right? Agents do this for their clients, right? They go to the MLS and they set up auto alerts for their clients, but they won't do it for themselves. Do it for yourself, right? Send yourself auto alerts on the neighborhood that you're marketing, right? And then ultimately get super serious about your business. You think you are serious, you're not. You have no idea what it really means to sell real estate in a normalized market, because we're not crashing, we're not dying.
We're normalizing.
We're normalizing.
I remember 2000. I remember 2008, bro. That ain't 2008.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
you know.
And look, in the last real market crash, I took a seat back. I took a back seat and I said, holy smokes, what am I gonna do? Because back then it was different. Back then you would help somebody buy a condo, and then on the same day at the same table in the same hour, they would flip it to somebody else for 100 grand, and you were making
Yep,
twice.
I remember that.
You know,
I remember that. Yeah.
And then it just and it didn't happen the way it's happening now, where we're normalizing over a few moments. It was like one day, it was over, right?
Yep.
And then when that one day it was over, you take a seat and you go, all right, what am I gonna do now? And I started doing some research, and I kept hearing the news saying a lot of people are going to have to face foreclosure or short sales. And I said, what the hell is a short sale?
You got to learn that.
Research on short sales, and I became the short sale king of South Florida. And in that first year of the crash, I did 60 short sales by myself with a fax machine, a printer, and an assistant. And we killed it.
Just fax it back. You have to fax the documents to the banks.
You had to fax the documents.
I remember that. Yep.
And then the bank would say the last paper was.
And then they invented the Equator and everything. You know, I remember Equator.
Yeah, then it got easy with Equator and all this other stuff. You know, but back then you had to fax it all in. And and I say this to people because if you love this industry and you're really serious about this professional job that you took on, it is a complete change for you to have to shift your business, and you're just going to have to do it, right? If you own a coffee shop and no one in the neighborhood likes coffee, maybe you should consider making hot chocolate. Maybe you should consider serving tea instead of coffee. Change the name from Jack's Coffee to Jack's Tea and Chocolate. Like, you have to make adjustments with what's happening in the market, and many of you will not.
Yeah, and we actually observed that. We actually observed it with our clients who hire virtual assistants. They come back to us, say, hey, listen, I love my VA, but I cannot afford to pay the VA because my business is slow. So we start to dig into this. Okay, what have you done? And they haven't changed anything. So, and I usually say, well, you know the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing and expecting the different results. You have to pivot. You have to change. You have to restructure. Let's come up with better ideas. What have you been doing? Well, maybe you need to do something else. So we're not actually in the business of coaching our clients how to run their businesses, but we are trying to help. Because obviously we employ their virtual assistants, and we want to make sure that they're able to work for them. But at the same time, if the real estate agent is insolvent, there's not a whole lot we can do. And I see that a lot of agents who were selling a lot of homes right now struggling. So that's a very good advice, David, that you gave them.
I tell folks right now, when we talk about the shifting markets, I say, look, ladies and gentlemen, just get back to basics. But what are the basics? And if you don't know what the basics are,
not a lot of them know that. Yeah, not a lot of them know what basics are.
Then join a training program, or find a mentor, or go on the right team, or figure this out, or look, join the freedomsop.com. It's free. Like, just come in and learn and just be a sponge, right? And take this stuff on, because the basics are simple. Like, this device right here, this telephone, we call it nowadays, right? It's a cell phone. There's like thousands of contacts in here. I would be running down every single, and actually, this was my team meeting with my sales team on Tuesday. I challenged them this week to take their contacts, turn into Excel spreadsheet, and call every single person on that Excel spreadsheet and update it with name, email, phone number. Do they own a home? What's the address? Not only is that an opportunity for them to have conversations with people maybe they haven't spoken to in a while, but it also gives them an opportunity to build up their database so that we can blow up the communication and build those relationships. And that's the basics, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Get back to basics and start grinding. It's never gonna be easy, but it's totally doable. It's totally doable. Well, David, thank you very much. It's been really fun talk to you, bro. And lastly, do you have any mindset advice for the real estate agents who just got into the real estate industry, like right now?
Yeah, so
same thing. Yeah,
same thing. But I will say this: don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of this industry. It is not an extremely difficult industry. Actually, it's pretty easy. This job of real estate is pretty easy. You just have to, we talked about it all throughout, right? So the mentor, the leader, all that stuff, that's great. But more importantly, figure out what it is that you love to do. Find your avatar, first-time home buyers, military people, whatever it is. find that, and then learn that like no one else has ever learned it before, and then focus on that and stay consistent every day. You might not see the fruit of your labor right away, but gosh, man, I'm telling you, if you just keep grinding and grinding 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, you're going to all of a sudden go, holy smokes, I am so busy that I don't even know what to do next. And that's when you find another mentor to take you to the next level. And guys, that's it. Just stay massively and ultimately consistent with what you're doing and know it.
Same like working out at the gym. If you want to see the results, you're not going to see them after the first workout. You got to go and do it like daily. Exactly.
Daily.
Yep, exactly. Well, thanks a lot. Appreciate it, David. It's been nice chatting with you, brother. As always.